and not even letting the attraction Hayden Young get in the ring. Devil's Reject member, the sleeper cell, Shaun Tempers, attacking before the bell. Referee Brent Wiley has not even officially started this contest. This is a way to kick off Anarchy, a drop kick, and now Tempers is on the floor, and Hayden Young flies! Tope Suicida, and the sleeper cell is wiped out.
Well, Shaun Tempers, I mean, he was part of that big melee at the end of last week's event, at the end of last week's program, where the Devil's Rejects and the NWA Elite, it was learned that next week here on NWA Anarchy Television, it's going to be the Elite versus the Rejects in six-man action, and Jeff G. Bailey and Dan Wilson will be barred from ringside.
That in the coming weeks. Back body drop. Hayden Young catches his balance. Springboard, clothesline. And thus far, the sleeper cell taken off his game by the attraction, Hayden Young. Now, much like the situation we had last week with Austin Creed, we have not seen Hayden Young in singles competition in some time, but right now he's got Dan Wilson. Tempers puts on the brakes, roll up, only a 2 count. And now Dan Wilson trying to claw the eyes out of the attraction.
The attraction, Hayden Young, of course, a former world television champion. The sleeper cell, Shaun Tempers, a former 2-time NWA Anarchy Tag Team Champion with 2 different partners. And right now, the sleeper cell trying to choke the very life out of Hayden Young. And Dan Wilson, in the back of his mind, he has to be wondering, how's he going to send his troops into battle? Who's he going to send into battle next week when he's barred from ringside along with Jeff G. Bailey and the Elite? Now, we know the Elite is going to be Jeff Lewis, Onyx, and Abomination. We don't know who the 3 members of the Devil's Rejects are going to be. But right now, as you see, Shaun Tempers choking Hayden Young and trying to intimidate referee Brent Wiley.
Well, after the manhandling of Wesley Grissom last week, whenever there's a reject or an Elite member in the ring, obviously no one is safe. Northern Lights released by Tempers, kick out by Young, and continuing to press the advantage. And you're absolutely right. We know who the members of the NWA Elite's team here in the coming weeks will be. We do not know who the 3 members of the Rejects will be. But right now, a key member of the Rejects, of course, the mind behind the mayhem that they cause, the Reverend Dan Wilson, being instrumental at ringside. Unfortunate for Hayden Young. Rear chinlock now applied to the attraction. Just being worn down, and the crowd here at the arena, another capacity house, rallying behind the attraction. Couple of elbows. He floats over, looking for a roll-up. Tempers holds on. Tempers with a double forearm shot, 2, and only a 2 count.
Greg Hunter, for 15 months, Dan Wilson and the Rejects plotted and conspired with each other to try to bring NWA Anarchy Wrestling to an end here in the NWA Arena. They tried to shut this building down and burn it to the ground, as they said they were going to do. That all came to an abrupt end back on November the 4th in Helen, Georgia, in the casket match.
Oh, good grief. 2. Only a 2 count out of that incredible maneuver.
In the casket match involving Team Anarchy against the Rejects. Now, we know that Team Anarchy had Abyss. Abyss, of course, having a long relationship with Jeff G. Bailey. And ever since November the 4th, Dan Wilson has blamed Jeff G. Bailey for his mission failing. And as I said last week, leading to this blood war that we're seeing between the Elite and the Rejects.
Backflip enziguri from Hayden Young. That's an incredible counter to that attempted Tempur-Pedic from the sleeper cell. Referee Brent Wiley administering his count. The crowd here strongly behind the former television champion of the world. Tempers off the far side, runs right into a clothesline. Young, forearm shot, trying to get his wind back. He has the sleeper cell off balance. springing into the tornado DDT, and Shaun Tempers is reeling. Hayden Young now going up, it appears, to the high rent district, perhaps looking for the flying squirrel. Dan Wilson is apparently throwing a hissy fit.
And Azrael is out here.
He hurls Hayden Young off the top rope. Brent Wiley never saw a thing thanks to Dan Wilson. Tempers sets him up. Tiger driver. 1, 2. God grief.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner of the match, Shaun Tempers.
Shaun Tempers, thanks to the rejects, steals 1. And now, oh, good grief.
And right now, wait a minute. Now here comes his partner, Austin Creed, out with a chair.